Drew Holiday. Well, I mean, that was disrespectful.
The point is definitely that's like that Sean Kemp point,
right?
It is.
That's like, what are you doing, bro? Ooh, like ooh.
You gotta hate third party. You gotta hate somebody else coming in who wouldn't even involve in the play.
Right.
Yeah,
but I'm just gonna let the viewers in on it. Producer Danny gave us his usual "Don't get fired on a Friday," and he said especially not 420. And Wilbon said, "What's the significance of 420?" And Tracy and I laughed. And I'll just leave y'all to the internet if you don't know what we're talking about. Welcome to The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols. The legend Mike Wilbon is here.
Thank you. Even I don't know what 420 means.
That's okay. We'll talk about it in the commercial.
Okay.
And the Hall of Famer Tracy McGrady. We've reached this weird place in sports where we love talking about potential, right? What's going to happen in the future, almost more than we want to talk about the present. The Warriors win a title and everyone wants the hot take right away, how many more they might collect. LeBron steps on the court in Cleveland for training camp and is met with a list of places he could go next season as a free agent. For years, Joel Embiid has been caught up in that same cycle more maybe than anyone else. Because of his injuries, the only image we had of him was really that future Embiid, right? What he might do eventually, one day, if he could stay on the court. Well, I got news for you. That future is here. And before you fast forward to what the eye-popping combo of Embiid and Ben Simmons might mean for the NBA down the road, you need to appreciate Joel Embiid is already a monster. And he showed that in full last night against Miami. There was his physicality, the way he fended off the Heat's dogged attempts to make him uncomfortable in his first game back from face surgery. Embiid would note later, Heat players were intentionally trying to break his mask, but he said, quote, "Little do they know we have about 50 of them. It's going to take much more than that to get me out of this series." Indeed. Last night, Embiid only got better as the game wore on. Did you see the sequence in the fourth quarter? So this is where Miami was within 7. Embiid first hits this just beautiful turnaround fadeaway, banks it off the glass, just so nice. Then less than a minute later, the three-pointer that totally puts the game out of reach. Threes like that, 15 trips to the line. That's what helped Embiid rack up 23 points on just 11 shots. But honestly, as impressive as he was at that end of the floor, it's his defense that outright changes things for Philadelphia. The Heat were 5 of 10 at the rim when Joel was not on the floor last night. They were 1 of 7 when he was. And keep in mind that with Embiid patrolling down low, the rest of the Sixers can be so much more disruptive defensively. Philadelphia forced 15 turnovers last night. 10 of them were steals. Now, after the game, we got Embiid's trademark bravado, which should not be underestimated either. In a 10-minute stretch on the podium, he promised, quote, "I'm going to be a nightmare." There was also, quote, "I like blowing teams out," and, quote, "I feel like I'm the best defensive player in the league." But my favorite was this exchange he had with our own Ramona Shelburne.
A couple days ago, you put, there was one Instagram post where you had, like, you guys playing against this team, against the Heat, and then there was playing against Boston, and then there was playing against the Cavs. There was one against the Warriors. Was that, like, a prediction or something, or is that, like, the path? What was that about?
Oh, I don't know. It was just the only pictures that I had in my phone, so I just had to go with them.
Yeah, totally. Those were just the only pictures he had in his phone, guys. Or, you know, the exact route through the playoff bracket that Joel thinks his Sixers will take on the way to winning the title this year. I guess, like everyone else, even Joel Embiid can't stop himself from spinning the story forward and trying to predict what will happen in the future. Although after what he did last night, I don't know, maybe he's earned it. All right, Tracy, I want to get back to the one little theme we saw there of Justice Winslow stepping on Embiid's mask, because I know that caught your attention last night.
It did. I just thought it was Bush League, because if you thought that was going to, if he was to break that, you thought they didn't have a backup for him to, you know, put another mask on. I mean, surely wasn't thinking about who this guy is and what he really means to this team. For you to think that they just going to have one mask, you break that and he's out of the game. No, you sadly mistaken. So I thought it was just Bush League on his part.
I was surprised that a team, a franchise that usually has a lot of discipline, particularly in the playoffs. You saw that in Game 2, which is how they came back. I was surprised they got engaged with Embiid like this. They got distracted. He got them out of their game. Or maybe they got themselves there by being so preoccupied with him and antics. And I thought that's not what a Miami team should be doing. You've evened the series. You've taken home court back, and you get preoccupied with this junk.
Yeah.
They did themselves a disservice.
But it's a fine line, right? Because doesn't this team, aren't they known for being physical, trying to rough other teams up and use that as their advantage, a little physical intimidation?
Yeah, I have no problem with the physicality, but, I mean, you talking about the antics of stepping on a guy's mask. That has nothing to do with being physical.
Okay, well, by the way, Joel said, oh, we got 50 of these. I don't know how many as a franchise they have, but Rebecca Harlow from TNT said last night there were only 2 in the building. So one got broken. I'm not saying it's a good or fair or even, I mean, it's a strategy that might get a phone call from the league today. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying that that may be what they were going for.
I mean, I don't buy it, you know. Yeah, even if they had to, you wasn't going to keep this guy out of the game. Not the way he was playing and the impact that he had on that game last night. He was not going to allow you, even if, let's say they didn't have any more masks, he wasn't going to sit out just because you broke his mask.
And absolutely, look, there were chippy moments last night all over the floor in addition to Winslow, Embiid, James Johnson. We had him staring down the Sixers, right, as he hit the 3. We had Wade throwing Justin Anderson down after he got tripped. Oh, here, we can see some of this stuff here, right? Look at the stare down.
Ooh.
Yep.
Ooh.
Uh-huh.
Let me just say this. I'm a firm believer in...
Look, here's after the trip. And then we just want to put out in garbage time, Dario Saric fouled on a late layup attempt by Kelly Olynyk, and Olynyk has been already gone in this series.
You know what Miami's starting to figure out? They're not as good as Philadelphia.
Well,
no, seriously. At some point in every series, Rach, I think there becomes a point, and Tracy, tell me if I'm crazy about this, where both teams know who the best team is.
Yes.
And often that's late. You know, a game 5 late, a game 6, maybe the first half of game 7. We're just into the series. And last night showed everybody else, and I wonder if it started to suggest to Miami, we know who the best team is. Philadelphia is 130 and then 120 points, and Embiid comes in, he only needs a half. I mean, I thought that I was wrong. I thought that Embiid might need a couple of games for them to work him back in seamlessly. No, they didn't. So Miami better stop talking, yapping, stepping on stuff, and play better.
Play ball. And I think with, Spoelstra being a championship coach, I think they will make adjustments. That's what he's really good at. He's good at making just adjustments from game to game. Now, they got to stop all the antics, stop all the, getting involved and trying to take somebody out of the game and, cut all that. Play Miami basketball. It's okay to be physical, but you got to do a better job of defending these guys. Right now, they're getting whatever they want on the offensive end, and they're making it look easy.
There's a little bit of question about what you said about reintegrating Joel, because, look, the time he's been out, their pace has been quicker. And we even saw it last night when he was sitting. Ben Simmons powered them and pushed them ahead to a bigger lead. And so it was sort of like, oh, wait a minute. No one's going to say they are better without Joel Embiid, but just having to figure out how to work him back in. But by the fourth quarter, it seemed that all meshed back together. And he is the one who, along with Ben, pushed them to what was getting to be a dwindling lead and then pushed it into double digits, and it was just gone.
You know, we talk about youth, inexperience, being basketball novices in terms of the playoffs. What I think we've all underestimated, or most of us, nobody in Philly, of course, would have underestimated.
Not, never.
It's just basketball IQ. I mean, Simmons and Embiid, for as young as they are, Ben knows he's going to play differently with Joel in there. My goodness, that realization. We got teams we can talk about later in the show that still don't make those realizations and react to them and make the corrections in real time. And they've been in the league 7, 8 years. These guys are so young to have done that. It's just very impressive. We're
going to get to one more Goran Dragic play, but before we do, I do have to ask you guys a question. We're seeing these 2 young guys together, right? And in the last year, the league has really come out even harder against tanking. They were worried about people following the process. They have this new rule coming in next year that's going to flatten the odds for the top few teams in the lottery. Do you think this postseason, watching these guys and the idea of what the process was if you take 5 swings at getting generational talent and only 2 of them pay off, great. You've got 2 of the best players in the NBA that are going to be locked into your team for 7 years. Do you think this is convincing anyone in other franchises? I want to do this, even if the league tries to make it harder?
Surely it has worked out for Philadelphia with these 2 guys. I mean, they're studs. They're going to be superstars in our league to come. But it's hit or miss. These guys are very rare.
The process is, it is hit or miss. So if you take 6 swings, you get to.
Rachel, some owners aren't willing to do that. I'm not going to name the owner, but there's an owner in a team that's in the lottery this year. They are not used to being in the lottery, and I know that owner does not want. He's like, we can do that. We can stomach this once.
Right.
Okay,
See,
maybe
this
a
is a name
second
I
time.
think you could say on
no,
TV,
it
'cause
isn't.
it's what
It
the
isn't.
NBA wants.
It isn't.
All right.
But the point is, but still, people still think they tanked this season.
Right.
People still think the team tanked. So no, I don't think everybody. You know, I don't even want to hear about the process. The process is you got two great players in Simmons and Embiid. There's three other dudes at least. Nerlens Noel is one of them who's not there. My man from Chicago who was drafted.
Well, you got your little local forward.
Okafor.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah.
They're gone.
Michael Carter Williams.
But again, the idea of the process wasn't like, hey, we'll get a low pick and we'll hit on it.
So the process just takes 7 years?
Well, the idea
It's been 6
15
years.
years since they've had this good a run in Philadelphia. But the idea of the process was if you get multiple times at bat at those high picks, you will hit on at least a couple.
But is
and
every
maybe
fan
one
base going to
time.
stand by that, Rach?
I mean, and the NBA is trying to make it harder. They've done this that flattens the odds at the very top of the draft. But I think it is interesting to watch these guys rip through the playoffs, and everyone is talking about, conference finals. Oh, maybe now they're going to make the finals.
I just think it's too long of a process.
Too long.
It's too long, yeah. I mean, it took them 6 or 7 years to get to where they are now.
Right.
Every fan base isn't going to stand by that. Philadelphia, I mean, come on, if we talk about the 5 cities where people are likely to, even while moaning and groaning, stand by that franchise, spend their dollars, right? Support the team, watch it, talk about it, be engaged. How many fan bases are going to do that out of the, what is it, 30 in the NBA?
I mean, look, the NBA obviously is fighting hard to make sure it doesn't happen anywhere else, but I am curious what this playoffs ripple effect is going to be on the thinking of GMs and owners around the league, and we'll have to, of course, wait and see how that happens. Coming up, we will have more Michael Wilbon, more Tracy McGrady, and we will talk about LeBron. Does he have enough help to keep his final streak alive, or even just make it past the Indiana Pacers? We will discuss. And speaking of Cavs Pacers, here is our not-so-distant replay. This is from a year ago, but look at it. You'll understand why we're running it. This date, let's watch.
Turner just back in, gets his own board, going strong.
Oh!
Goodness, young fella.
See, this is why everyone was so excited about Miles Turner coming into this year. Difficult first half of the season, but then he fought his way through, right?
Goodness gracious.
He's really picked it up as the season has
He's
gone
going to
on.
pick it up tonight again. He's going to get back to game 1.
Oh, I want to talk about this series.
I mean, I can't wait for this tonight.
There's something out there for you.